World Peace Metro is never actually worth doing. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do it. Oh, and they're starting. So the bingo board should be on stream in a second, but we can both see it right now. So far we can see like 9 moons from nuts, which is pretty good in my opinion. So I think, oh look, World Peace and Metro is literally on there.
Yeah, the board should show up in just a second. Not sure why it's not.
Yeah. So probably might not want to go for that one, but we'll see what happens. Looks like a pretty decent boards, to be honest. Like, I think we're guaranteed to see Seaside. I think since there's quite a few Seaside squares, so could definitely be worth going through all the way through Metro. Are people putting predictions in chat even though they can't see the board?
Well, let's read off some of the squares since the board is not yet up. Just in the meantime, while that's getting fixed, we have Captain Toad Seaside purchasing 4 hats. Wow, we haven't seen that in a while. 7 moons from 8-bit sections. I wonder if anybody's gonna go for that. 20 regional coins in Lake, 5 moons from Moon Shards, 3 moons from Deep Woods. That's interesting. 24 unique captures. Usually the unique captures are they're often avoided, but we'll see how it goes. 30 regional coins in Seaside, 25 regional coins Cascade, 9 treasure chest moons, 35 regional coins Cascade, 40 regional coins Seaside, 10 regional coins Cap, 40 regional coins Wooded. There's a lot of regional coin squares here. 8 moons from sub-areas in Metro. I believe we had that one in the last race that me and Eden commentated. 9 moons from Nuts. All regional coins in 2 kingdoms. 1 Warp Painting Moon, World Peace restored in Metro. 14 moons in Lost. Catch the Rabbit in Lost. 6 unique Life Up Hearts, excluding shops. Look at 3 Hunt Arts. 10 regional coins in Snow, and Call Jaxie from 3 stands. That is all the squares. Hope we can get the board actually up so you guys can see it for yourself. But just wanted to read those out to you in the meantime.
The interesting thing about 6 Life Up Parts is there's 1 right in Cap. So you can tell straight away whether or not they're going to go for that line, because it's in the... it's in row 5, column 2. So the fact that I didn't see any runners in Cap Kingdom get that Life Up Part could be a sign that they're avoiding those.
Yeah, it may also be something that you don't really look for a lot. So maybe they're just unfamiliar with the locations of these hearts, so they don't feel very confident going for those.
Yeah,
I don't would rather pick another line.
Yeah, I think Life Up Parts are actually kind of good. Like, I think people avoid them, but they're actually more common than you think.
Right,
like,
and we had Kerbis taking a dive. But yeah, you're definitely right. The Life Up Hearts are available pretty much everywhere, in every single kingdom, at least a couple times in very easily accessible areas, but the problem is knowing exactly where those are, since having to just look around would lose a lot of time.
Yeah. So both runners are getting those Cascades regionals, which is in row 3, column 1. They need 35 or 25, since there's 2 Cascade regional squares, so I think doing those is good because they sort of tie together. Also, it could be one of the kingdoms that you decide to do all regionals for, since there is that square that says all regional coins in 2 kingdoms. So that's definitely an option to be looking out for. But surprisingly, there's no goals that are like total regionals, like 175 total regionals, which would have been very useful for this board since there are just so many of those squares.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty much the entirety of row 1, excluding just one square, is all about regional coins. So that was quite a bit. Regional coins would be the way to get an easy line. That is given that somebody knows where all of them are in Cascade,
Yeah.
Seaside, Cap Kingdom, and Wooded.
Yeah, I think usually the play is to do all regional coins in an area that only has 50, because they're just so easy to find and get. But that doesn't mean to say that they won't get all regional coins in like Seaside or something like that. Like, especially if you know the route, then you could actually go for it. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so we do have Kerbis going out of his way to get these purple coins, so he's definitely going for the Cascade Regionals.
Also getting the 8-bit moon.
Yes, he's actually going for that. 8-bit moon being in, let's see, hold on.
It's in column 3, row 1.
Yes, exactly.
8-bit moons is actually kind of good. Like 7 8-bits seems like a lot, but you can get those pretty easily if you go to Snow or Seaside. Like I'm pretty sure you just substitute one for like the one in Inverted Pyramid or the one in Wooded, for example.
Right.
There is some flexibility in there. But yeah, both runners seem to be doing very similar routes here.
Yeah, they're both staying in Cascade to get the purple coins. Kerbis a little actually behind on the purple coins themselves, interestingly enough.
Yeah, I think Xylex got a few more at the start. Yeah. So they should be around similar. I don't think Kerbis got the ones by the 2D area though. So I think they're both going for those 35. Actually Kerbis, yeah, I was about to say Kerbis was one off there.
Oh, and it does look like we are getting the board shown up on the stream in just a second. Just pointing out the 35 regional coins Cascade has been marked off by both runners.
Yeah.
So both of them were going for the exact same square, funny enough, and finishing it around the same time.
Yeah, it looks like Xylex is choosing to get this 2D moon that Kerbis also got. So, very similar. I don't know if Xylex is going to get more purple coins for the all regionals, but the sub area that you get like 4 purples in has like a bit moon in it. But looks like he's just gonna head straight to the Odyssey and go to Sen Kingdom.
Yep. So Kerbis already on his way to Sand Kingdom, just in the transition right now. Xylex just reached the Odyssey, depositing those moons. Like I said before, both of them have marked off their first square, being 35 regional coins Cascade. So that was obviously the first thing both of them were going for. And there we go. We have the board finally up on the screen, so you guys can see what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so let us know in chat what route you might take. I think this one can be sort of flexible, like I think you could avoid Seasides and go to Snow instead and just stuff like that. So it'd be interesting what other people may do with this board. Oh, and Kerbis is going to do manual DSTA for this seed.
Oh, that's
So,
very interesting, actually.
yeah. If you don't know what DSTA is, it's called Daylight Savings Time Abuse, where you plant the seed and by simply changing the switch's clock, it can grow the seed in sand. And I think he did that because I think he's just planning to do any percent in sand here since there's no real objectives in sand today. Like usually you get like atop the round tower or in the inverted pyramid and stuff like that, but the only ones that you can see on the board are Call Jetsy from 3 stands and 9 treasure chest moons, so I guess those things would really affect sand, but everything else seems pretty standard, so that's probably why he just thought, oh, this is a quick moon to get through sand as fast as possible, and xylex seems to be doing the same thing.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah.
Yeah, we have a pretty sort of carbon copy runs going on here with both of them seeming to do almost the same things. Well, the what you mentioned earlier there not being a lot in sand, I just noticed that as well. Not a single square is specific to sand, but like you said, there are a lot of chest moons in this kingdom, so if they are going for that square, they would definitely go out of their way to get those.
Is this going to work? No, there's no way. It's a bit unfortunate for Kerbis there with the bullet bill. That's a world peace strat where you uncapture the bullet bill, get the checkpoint, and then up throw, but he seemed to have a tiny bit of issue with that. But is going to go to this Sphinx moon, possibly because it's a treasure chest moon, or possibly just because it's a replacement. xylex is going to get that life apart in the slots area there, which is interesting.
So he is going for that square, alright.
Yeah, and he's also getting the hint art, which may suggest he wants to purchase 4 moons, not 4 moons, 4 hats later on, because you can use your regionals or you can use your coins.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and with there being a lot of squares here that do require purple coins, they could go for a double whammy if they're smart about it.
Yeah, Kerbis doing that slick setup on the bullet bills and gets his second 8-bit moon. Be interesting to
Sand Dram, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, yeah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it's interesting if Kerbis did do IP clip, and that's exactly where he's going. Do IP clip. And if you're watching this and don't know what IP clip is, it's basically where you ground pound or backflip against this wall, and you sort of hope you get in, and it skips an entire like story moon, which is the shards, it's alright, but it can be out of your way. But the fact that he may not be going for the moon shards in the sands could suggest he doesn't want the 5 moons from moon shards objective.
Yeah, and I don't know if you just saw that, but xylex on his dive there incorporated something where he actually used the camera mode in and out that actually gave him just a little bit more height, getting him over there so he doesn't bonk.
Yeah, upwarps in Odyssey are interesting. I know a lot of trick jumpers sort of do that strat as well, where they like go into the camera mode and sort of try to get an upwarp onto a ledge. It's not something you see very often in a regular run. But yeah. And Kerbis getting another treasure chest moon. This must be like his third. And then I assume he's going to do like Jetsy skip for a 4th. I think treasure chest moons are kind of alright, especially if you know something like Lakelet. You can get two treasure chest moons very quickly out of that. And it's also a wall painting, so that's something we could see Kerbis do.
Mhm. And
In like,
Xylex grabbing that 2D moon, so they are both going for the 2D section moons, as well as the grabbing purple coins for Xylex. He went out of his way to grab those in the tower, so that gives us an idea of what they're going for, that being regional coins. But as there are none specific to sand, this may just be an overall goal rather than getting a specific square.
yeah, the only sand-specific one is the Coljaxi from Freestance, which is what Kerbis just did. And he did capture the cactus, but it's probably just because it's a fast moon rather than it being a capture. Xylex is sort of struggling with this IP clip that we were talking about earlier. He seems to be doing the backflip setup. Certainly taking him a few tries for possibly the 8-bit and the treasure chest moon.
Yeah, I've heard even very experienced people with the IP clip, sometimes if they're just not having a good day, they might actually spend a solid minute or two trying to get it right. I personally have not gotten it myself, but yeah, there we go. Xylex took a little bit too long there, readjusted himself, and is going for it again. Noticed that he wasn't quite successful
Yeah,
on it.
finally gets it, but it will prove beneficial in the long run because I don't know. I'm sorry for laughing, that was just funny. But like, getting the extra treasure chest moon in the IP is actually kind of good, especially if you can't do late clip because there aren't any treasure chest moons in some areas. Like, I don't think there's any in Lost, for example. And the ones in Wooded are in Deep Woods, so
Yeah,
um,
so we
yeah.
see Xylex doing a lot, at least trying to do a lot of fast strats here. As you noticed before, he was trying to roll off of the platform and up throw Cappy to catch that bullet bill. Sadly, that did not work out as he intended, but still also going for the damage boost in that first 2D area. So he's definitely trying to go for the fastest methods to get everything. Also evident by earlier where he used the up warp with the camera. Um, so he may just be trying to, aside from the routing, take the approach of just getting to the places as fast as possible so that he may be able to adjust for any bad routing by simply being a lot faster than his opponent.
Yeah, I think especially as he's sort of made some of these mistakes, I think he'll definitely be looking forward to getting edge over Kerbis. Um, so yeah, Kerbis doing this late flip here, which is actually really hard to set up and do. But he pulls it off fine and gets 2 of these treasure chest moons in very quick succession and gets a warp painting moon out of it. So learning late clip is pretty good for bingo if you want to give it a try, but it can be quite tricky.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Late clip in usually in any percent, it's only saves a couple seconds, I believe. So a lot of runners don't even bother with it. But as Eden said in bingo, definitely this it provided for getting a lot of numbers on squares in a very short amount of time. So it definitely proved to be beneficial just in the moment with the routing.
Kerbis looking to do these late shards, but didn't fancy the sand shards though. Might have been a bit slower for him since I think you can get 6 um before like seaside or something. So he's probably decided to just cut out the sand ones since he might be thinking of a cat revisit as well. Like if he's doing the diagonal, then doing a cap revisit wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Or if he's just doing row 3 or something like that.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. And getting another 8-bit moon here. It's a very nice and convenient 8-bit moon since it ties in with music notes as well. Like if you ever get music notes and 8-bit moons on the board, they're like kind of nice to get.
Yeah, definitely, and also with those regional coins, which Kerbis is now able to mark off on his board.
Yeah. Does he? Yeah, 20. Alright. So, probably based on the fact that he hasn't gotten all regionals in a kingdom so far, might imply he's not going to go for it. But like I said, it can be slower to like do that objective, so he's probably thinking, oh, I'm just gonna get these required ones and route that out. But yeah, I'm going on to Wooded already. Mars Silex is probably going to do the same route that we just saw Kerbis do. So yeah, he's doing the moon shards and probably going to get the 20 purples as well. Since we've both seen them do 8 bits and we've both seen them do treasure chest moons. I think the only thing we haven't seen Xylex do is get the Jaxi stands.
Yes,
Which is interesting.
I noticed the same thing, obviously, before we sort of established that they're, I highly doubt that is planned, but they must have the same sort of route in mind, but we were starting to see some deviations from that, starting with the Jaxi stands. Obviously, Xylex did not go for those. He is still going for the 20 regional coins in Lake, it seems like, going out of his way to grab those coins, so we'll be seeing that square marked off by both of them again.
Yeah, what I think is interesting about Xylex's route is that he didn't take off 25 coins in Cascade. So if we've seen him go for 9 like treasure chest moons already, then surely he would have ticked off the 25 regional coins if he was going to do chest moons as well. So I think that's actually kind of interesting. That he hasn't ticked it off. Because I don't know what he'd be doing the treasure chest moons for if he hasn't done the scans and he hasn't ticked off the regional ones, so...
Right.
Might just be a backup shot. Nah, as I'm saying it, he probably just forgot and is listening to me comment on it.
Yeah,
So,
for anyone who watched the, we actually, both of us commentated a match yesterday where we mistakenly assumed very, very high IQ strats from the players, but it turned out to just be forgetting to mark off squares, so a bit quite humorous, but we sort of have to look out for that, for giving them a little bit too much credit.
yeah, so Xylex is probably looking at row 2 and row 1 and something else, row 3 or column 1, maybe? I think either of those will be alright, because both of them would require a revisit. It's just a choice between 10 regional coins and cap or capturing the rabbit and how well you're confident on sub areas and regionals and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think Kerbis has definitely thought of column 1. Maybe Yeah, and column 5 and row 1. So I think we have a good idea what route each runners are doing so far. And Xylex choosing to get this warp painting. So, oh, and also Jetsy stands? Has he done that for Jetsy stands?
Ah, that might be the routing that he went for. I think he might still be going for that. Let's see what happens, because that would actually be quite smart, using that warp painting moon to simply route himself back into Sand Kingdom without having to use the Odyssey. So you can get that square if it was either missed or planned this way. I highly doubt it would be faster.
I think he just sort of forgot about Jetsy stems, perhaps, and he's getting the story moon. So looks like he's also going back for moon shards, which is interesting indeed. But yeah, revisiting Sands when you could have done it in the first visit isn't the best, but I think the way that he sort of planned it with like, oh no, Xylex taking a death. But I think the way that he planned it out with like the warp painting, maybe he wasn't very confident with Flake Flip. Then it sort of ties in. Also, I sort of mentioned this like yesterday, I think, but I sort of recommend just taking the bullet bill over here instead of going on those platforms like that.
Yeah, you mentioned that yesterday. Definitely a fast, maybe not faster, but a definitely safer strat, so that a death like that can be avoided.
I'm so confused what Xylex is doing. I thought he came back here for moon shards, and now I'm just more confused. Oh no,
It doesn't appear to be what he's doing.
Oh, Jetsy stands?
Yep, doesn't appear to be so. Now, if he is still going for moon shards, definitely it would have been smarter to simply do the shards while he was over on that platform and then get the Jaxie stand later. But it may be that he's not going for it.
Yeah. Just gonna go back to late after getting 3 Jaxie stands, so that's interesting. I think if I was in Xylex's position, I would have gotten the moon shards if I was there anyway. But you know, he's probably thinking of another way. Like I said, Kerbis might be revisiting Cat Kingdom, and there's 2 sub-areas in Cat Kingdom with moon shards.
Right.
There's also shards in other places, like in Metro, for example, and in Lost. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah.
Alright, and Kerbis has been getting those moons from Nuts. He went all the way up to the tower, not actually going through with the brutal fight.
Yeah, I think he sort of opted for the advanced any percent route, where you get the moons from Nuts, since you get 9 moons from Nuts in total in the any percent route. So I think his plan was just to get the 3 moons in Deep Woods, get 9 nut moons, and then leave. I didn't see him pick up regionals, and it looks like he hasn't marked it off. So yeah, definitely looking at column 1 for sure.
Yeah, just based on what he has already marked off, the only rows we know of right now that he might be going for, column 1, row 1, and row 5, as those are the only ones where he actually has some squares marked off. Obviously, that can change as the race develops, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so it looks like Xylex is going to head off to Wooded, so I think Be interesting to see what he does there exactly, whether he decides to get regionals or if he just decides to do the any percent route. You know, I think that'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, definitely. Regional coins wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Now, looking at column four, he does already have 2 squares marked off with 40 regional coins in wooded, giving him another square, which wouldn't be too terrible. But the last 2 squares that he would need for column 4 would be World Peace Restored for Metro, which would obviously include the festival, as well as going all the way to Snow King. So while it may seem like a good line, it might take a long time.
Yeah. It's actually interesting how none of the runners opted to do 24 unique captures. Like, we haven't really been seeing either of these runners capture some stuff. I think it would have been a good idea, because you're going to Seaside anyway, and you're also visiting Deep Woods, and 24 captures isn't that bad. And Kerbis did take a death on Meme Tree, unfortunately. The tree memes us all in the end.
It does. Yeah, I was actually expecting if Kerbis was going to go for the 24 unique captures, I was expecting him to capture that Fire Bro in that tunnel area in Wooded, going on that any percent route, but he didn't end up doing that, so it doesn't appear that he's going for that one either. Neither Xylex, because he avoided the same one.
Kerbis not getting the glide on, even though it's his emote, SMH Kerbis. But this routing for the 14 moons in Lost is actually kind of useful because you get this 8-bit moon here, and that contributes to your, obviously, overall 8-bit moons.
Hmm.
And yeah, we're seeing this advanced any percent route once again from xylex. What makes it harder is that you have to get Nutclut, and you have to go up that ramp, which can be hard to do. Plus other things, like if you skip the Piranha Plant, then you have to do Sputeless, which can have some hard movement. But seems to be pretty confident with it, so I'm sure he's more than capable.
Yeah, and obviously he's going for the Nut Moons as well, just like Kerbis did, just with a bit of a different route.
Yeah. Like I said, those Nut Moons are very useful, and they're pretty fast to get if you have 9. I don't think 10 is that bad, but I think if you were going for like 11 or 12, I don't even know how many are on the bingo like sheet, but if it's more than like 11, I think you'd be struggling.
Oh, it's only 9 on the board.
Yeah, I know on the boards, but I mean overall in terms of goals.
Oh, okay.
So it says there's 11. I don't think there's that bad. There's one in a sub area, and there's one that's like on the ground by the pipe that takes you out by the Goombas. I don't know what it's called. I just know it's there. Xylex is picking up quite a few purples, so could be going for that 40 regionals.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, like I said before, that would be a bit of an obvious choice, considering he already has 2 in that column. But like I said, that would require him to do World Peace for Metro and go all the way to Snow Kingdom. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think Xylex maybe thought he could do the diagonal, but then decided against regional coins.
Hmm.
Or he thought of like row 2, but then maybe was put off by unique captures since, like I said, we haven't really seen him capturing that much.
Right. And yeah, Kerbis sort of reinforcing my assumptions by not capturing the what are they called? These wiggly things that stretch really long. I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the enemy,
I
but
think the like caterpillars are.
yeah, something like that.
I
Not
don't know
capturing
the actual
those when they
name.
were quite easy. So I think it's pretty much confirmed at this point that neither of the players are going for that 24 unique captures, and that Kerbis is instead just going for column 1 at the moment, as well as row 1 and row 5.
Yeah, tropical wiggler. So yeah, Kerbis is now in Night Metro. So I don't think there's that much to do in Night Metro. I mean, you can go to slots and get a life up heart, or you can get the life up heart in City Hall if you're still thinking of that square. I think Day Metro will see the biggest difference with the 8 moves from sub areas, since there are quite a few sub area moves to be getting. I think we'll definitely see him go that route.
Yeah, and there's also
before.
just a couple more 8-bit moons, which would help him get the row 1.
Yeah.
If he does go for row 1, he also has to purchase the 4 hats. So maybe one of the sorry.
In Lost, we saw him purchase a hat.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely seems like he's going for row 1, as I had assumed earlier. And he did get those. He did go out of his way to get those moons from moon shards in Lake and in Lost.
Yeah, there's only one 8-bit moon in
Metro?
Yeah, that's the word. It's the one that's sort of in a building and you have music notes as well. I think Kerbis' route, he is missing like 2 or 3. But if he's going to Seaside, then there's 2 in that area with the pipes, and there's also 1 where you like ground pound the switch and go in the pipes. I don't know any of the names of these moves, but I know what they are. So there's you in Seaside if he's still missing some, and it looks like he should be going towards Seaside. So yeah, Xylex just needs a couple more purples. I don't know if he got the ones here. No, he didn't. And there's 3 more up this wall, but I don't know if he's missed any more. No, I'm looking for those purples. But yeah, Kerbis is about to go into Day Metro. Oh, he didn't get the ones in the tree. Alright. And he's looking at the hint art. So that's interesting. Could be a change of route for Xylex, maybe? Like maybe going for column 3.
Yeah, I mean, he did already get that 1 warp painting moon square, which is in column 3, so it wouldn't be too crazy to assume that that would also go into row 5, where he does have another square being called Jaxie from 3 stands. So definitely look at 3 hint arts would be one that would work into 2 lines.
Yeah. Looks like Xylex is also buying his hats now all at once, which is something that kerbis didn't do.
Interestingly enough, yeah, that might say, save xylex a little bit of time ahead of kerbis, unless kerbis might change his mind and not actually go for that square in the end. But only time will tell.
Yeah, and kerbis is in this sub-area, which also has moon shards, which I forgot. So there's actually 2 areas in Metro with moon shards, Outfit Door and this one. So they actually tie in nicely with the 8 moons from sub-areas and also the 5 moons from shards. So that's quite nice of the boards in terms of routing.
Yeah, definitely. So if he is going for the 8 moons from sub areas in Metro, it may also just be coincidence in he's actually not going for those. But that would mean row 3, which makes him kind of out of left field, since he only has 1 square in that, and the other 3 would be 40 regional points in Wooded, 10 regional points in Cap, 40 regional points in Seaside. But it doesn't seem like he cared too much about the Wooded regional coins, so I highly doubt he's actually going for row 3 at this point.
Yeah, I think it's definitely column 5 and column 1, and then row 1.
So he did purchase those hats, giving another square in row 1, so that pretty much seems that row is very much confirmed that he is going for. It also ties into column 1, which is also one that he's confirmed going for. So that would be 2 lines coming together. So let's see.
I don't know why I forget that this sub-area exists, but this one also has moon shards in it.
And quite a lot of moon shards.
Just as soon as you thought there can't be possibly more moon shards, there were more. I think this makes sense in terms of kerbis's route. This isn't my first choice of sub-area, personally, because I'd rather do, like, People's Room, or, like, Outfit Door, or something like that, but I think this makes the most sense. Sort of not quite making this jump up. Probably not getting enough height there.
Right, but as I pointed out before, it's probably not going for that square for 8 moons from sub areas, just considering the amount of work that would have to be done to get the rest of that line, since there's only a single square in that finished, and he's already gone past Wooded without getting any, or without getting the necessary regional coins to mark off that square. So it would be quite a jump to conclusion to say that he's trying to go for row 3.
Or column 5.
Yeah.
Actually, now thinking of it, he didn't take off 14 moons from Lost, but I'm pretty sure he got them. Yeah, I think someone in chat is right. I think he's going to do a Lost revisit and then get 14 moons with the rabbit. Yeah, that makes sense. So kerbis is doing column 5 because he's gotten moon shards, he's gotten treasure chest moons, he's gotten moons from sub areas in Metro, he's gotten Jaxie stems, and all he needs to do is finish Metro, go to Seaside, and then revisit Lost and get those squares together.
Good observation. So kerbis was doing a skip just there that basically avoids the need for having to actually have an outfit to go through the door in the kingdom. Of course, outfit doors being doors you can only access if actually having purchased and then wearing a hat and clothing combo to be able to access it, but by flipping out of bounds, he's able to reach the loading zone for that sub area without having to actually have the door open.
Yeah, that flip into the outfit door room is pretty nice, and it's quite easy. All you have to do is find the right spot and roll. Definitely worth learning for a category like bingo or like Hundo or no xylex. Taking a death there, that looks like a value dive, I think. Pretty unfortunate death to take.
And we had Kerbis marking off the 8 moons from sub areas, so it definitely does appear that you were right. Column 5 is definitely something he's going for. So at this point, it appears that he's going for column 1, column 5, and row 1. Sort of making an arch on the bingo board.
Neo in chat is talking about row 2 should have been a nice one to go for. I think row 2 was honestly an oversight by both of these runners. I don't think it's a bad one at all. Like, you're going to Seaside, and it sort of negates the fact of having to do, like, regional coins in Lake. It negates the fact you have to do the 7 8-bit moons. And also the regional coins in Cascade ties in with the 35 regional coins. So I think row 2 would have been nice to go for sure. But yeah, I think maybe they just weren't very comfortable with doing 25 captures. I know that after doing 26 captures, it was a bit annoying. Oh no, xylex. No. Probably didn't notice that's a Klepto trigger, which is kind of unfortunate, or he just forgot to re-trigger Klepto. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, I just wanted to say in regards to row 2, definitely it does appear to be quite an easy row, and the oversight might have just been through just a little bit of pressure. Obviously, in Mario Odyssey Bingo, you are shown the board just moments before the race starts, so having to make snap decisions does invite oversight quite easily. So we can't rule out that they would have gone for those if they would have been given another minute to plan it out.
Really unfortunate on the xylex is side here. But yeah, I do agree with you on you can be like so blindsided by like easy lines to do that you end up going like really out of your way just because you're sort of like at the start, right, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then you realize, oh, actually that's really bad, but I've done most of it now, so I may as well follow through with it. So you do sort of get those moments.
Yeah, and with xylex, an interesting thing, as I mentioned, towards the beginning of the race, xylex does appear to be trying to get an edge over the opponent here by just trying to be as fast as possible, not working out in his favor in Lost Kingdom, enduring a couple of deaths that might have just been from a little bit of overconfidence in his speed.
Yeah, I think xylex was sort of hindered by the fact he had some mistakes early on. And that sort of maybe pressured him a tiny bit. But I think overall his route was alright. But I think overall it's just been pretty alright on both runners' sides, really. Like, nothing too dramatic. Even though I'm still...
and we actually have Kerbis now going for Captain Toad. That actually makes the first line of the match being row 1. And now he only needs 2 more squares to actually win the race, that being in column 1, Catch the Rabbit in Lost Kingdom, and 14 Moons in Lost Kingdom. So definitely now it will make sense for him to go back to Lost simply for those 2 squares.
Yeah, I think it's nice how those sort of connected together. So definitely well thought out from Kerbis to go for the rabbit and the 14 moons.
Right, yeah, it may not have been caught by us, but I do believe that at the very, very least from his first visit to Lost, he actually already knew what he was doing, avoiding getting all the necessary moons to mark off that spot, knowing that he will have to do a revisit, and that it will be quite easy to finish his board that way, so...
Yeah, and Kerbis has finished in
And
Lost
there we
Kingdom
go.
at a time of 50 minutes and 47 seconds. So GG's to Kerbis. I believe you will get an interview invite, so feel free to join us in the channel as we will probably see Xylex finish out his route in this match, and we may see what he decides to do.
Yeah, definitely a very, very good race from Kerbis. I mean, that is a 50-minute time, quite a bit below sub-hour, something that not everybody can say that they've achieved. So definitely on that.
And Kerbis has joined us in the voice channel, so GG's again, Kerbis, for your win. How did you feel about the bingo board?
Oh, this board was so weird. I saw the early, like the Metro finish with Metro Peace, and I was like, I don't want any part of that. So
Yeah.
I just tried to find something that worked with Seaside. I don't know, I was trying to avoid the snow goal, obviously, and I was trying to avoid the all regional coins in 2 kingdoms. That's a really time-consuming goal. So, I don't know, I kind of scrambled a little bit, but my route was okay. I just kind of played really bad in sand. Definitely could have gotten sub 50, but that's okay. It happens.
Looking back at this board, do you think that you may have chosen like a different row, like row 2, for example, over row 1, or were you quite confident with doing your 8-bit moons?
I mean, the 8-bit moons aren't that bad, but I think row 2 probably would have been better than row 1.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, because I already got the regional coins in Cascade anyway, and the capture, if you're going to Seaside, 24 captures is super easy. You don't really have to go far out of your way to finish that. So it would really just be the regional coins, which I'm not super like well versed on my Seaside regionals, but it's only 30, so I could scramble 30 together.
I think with Seaside, there's a lot of open regionals that you can just sort of see. Like there's not that many in like sub areas or stuff like that. So I think you can sort of just find them all over the place. So that's definitely worth looking at if you're unsure. I mean, I personally do like 7 things from 8 bits. I know a lot of people hate it, but like it's not.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Especially if you're going to Metro, I don't mind it, because you can 7 pretty easily.
Yeah, I think it's only bad if you obviously finish before Metro, like the last finish, then it's like something to avoid.
Yeah, even then it can be okay depending on what you've got, but yeah, if you're going to Metro, 7-bit moons from 8 bits isn't too bad. I did undershoot the 8 bits and the treasure chests by 1 each, but thankfully Seaside has at least moderately quick options for those to finish them off.
Yeah.
So that kind of worked
out. The going back to Lost Kingdom, I thought that was pretty smart. At what point did you have your board figured out? I'm just curious.
Oh, like before the first moon in Cascade.
Wow.
I probably should have like looked at it a little closer to get that road too, but yeah, I actually decided on my route pretty quickly on this one.
Damn. Well, yeah. I mean, we had it pointed out in chat that road 2 would have been smart, and then I commented on that, saying that the runners don't actually see their board up until just seconds before the race starts. So oversights are pretty commonplace, not having too much time to plan out the board. But I think you did pretty well, being able to see where you can get what quite early in the run.
Yeah, so my thing is, even if I don't, like, you're not always going to pick the optimal route, right? Because you're so distracted trying to play the game. My thing is just pick something that works fast. And because, like, the more time, like, the more of those cutscenes in Cascade that you can spend, like, actually planning out your route instead of trying to figure out what roads you're going to do, I think the better off you're generally going to be. So even if your route isn't optimal, if you have a really good plan to execute on it, then it can beat an optimal route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you do have to think for sure about what route you do, and I think I was saying during the commentary, it's like, if you find a good route halfway through that's different to what you're doing, it can like definitely mess you up, and it's like,
Yeah, you
wait,
definitely you don't once you pick your route, you don't even want to pay attention to the rest of the board because that's just going to mess with you. Like you don't want to switch your route halfway through. And if you're seeing goals, you're like, "Oh, I wish I would have done that instead." It's just going to distract you. So once you pick your stuff, just laser focus on them and figure out how you're going to complete them.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good advice to people who are like just starting out and they're sort of worrying about their routes, and it's just like, just do what you're sort of comfortable with at first, and then when you like get something on your boards that you might not pick, like do it anyway, and then at least you have the experience of like carrying out something you didn't want to do. It's like a big learning curve, basically.
Yeah, I just like to quickly mention Xylex is actually forfeited. He does seem to be taking it perfectly fine. Writing in chat, he just got outplayed, outrouted. Definitely fine. Kerbis definitely played quite well, but Xylex, you definitely gave it your best, doing well to try to route this board. But as Kerbis pointed out, it was quite weird. So kudos still for getting as far as you did.
Yeah, definitely GG's to both of you for just having a go at it, really. But yeah. I don't know if Xylex wanted to do an interview or anything like that, but he's definitely welcome.
Alright, I've got to head out, but thanks for commentating, guys.
Yeah. And anybody on stream, definitely follow the two racers, kerbis54, xylex4500. Be sure to follow them on their channels. They're both very talented players. And if you are a Mario Odyssey lover and lover of the speed runs, they can definitely tickle your fancy for those.
So yeah, Xylex said he's happy to do an interview, so we'll probably just wait for him to
All right,
join,
so
and
yeah,
here.
exactly. We have Xylex here.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello, how are
Xylex.
you guys holding here?
We're doing good. How are you after that race?
Yeah, I was really good. At like the start of it, I had like a single monitor setup, so like I had to like get like live split the bingo stuff. Like I had like a lot of things to do, so that's why timer wasn't working at the start. I also like tried to get that working. So like I didn't really felt like I had the time for routing. So like I just felt like I got outplayed there today. And especially
definitely
Lost.
a lot of.
When I was going for shards in the jungle in Lost Kingdom, I was like trying to play it as best as I could, as I usually do in other speedrun categories. So like I mostly tried my best, but like I died multiple times, and it kind of just took it out of me a bit. But like GG Curb, he definitely played really well today. Like I tried to like go back to sand because of routing wise, but like overall I think I'm really kind of proud of what I've done today. But like, honestly, I think I could have played better. It's just I wasn't at my best today, and I didn't feel like it. Because especially since Thursday, I took like a week off in this game, and I was like trying to get back into it. I realized I was playing kind of well, so yeah, I'll hand it back over to you guys.
Yeah, totally understand. As we also asked Kerbis, what did you think about row 2 there? You did say that you didn't have an insane amount of preparation as far as routing goes, but just looking at row 2, what do you think there? Would you have taken that if
row
you
two
had another look?
Row 2 was definitely really interesting. The 30 purples in Seaside, I did an all purple coins run like last week, and I was like, I knew where most of the purples in Seaside were, but like the 24 unique captures is mostly where it kind of just threw me off. Like I didn't like train myself to like find the best route for captures since there's so many in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like trying to route that's a bit more complicated, so I just like dropped that. I think like most top runners would probably just go for the 24 unique captures, because if you're going to Seaside, that's then fairly easy. But then again, you don't want to go to Seaside because Seaside is way too far.
Yeah, well,
So
in this board, I think you pretty much had to do Seaside or Snow.
yeah, I think you had to.
Yeah, the quote-unquote early finish was World Peace in Metro, which takes forever.
Which takes a really long time. If I was going to continue that, I was actually going to go for Sewer Clip, because why not?
Alright.
Because I am like fairly consistent at it. I remember like I did it in a bingo like last week with Team Viranta, and like me and him, I was just doing World Peace Metro because like we were tied, so I just decided to YOLO Sewer Clip and got it in 6 tries.
Yeah. Sewer Clip's a hard one.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, there's a theory I had from around the beginning, is that you were trying to get a bit of an edge by doing simply very, very fast movement, not necessarily
it's mostly, it's mostly because I've been running 90% a lot. Like, it's now like my main category. I've been doing it for like 3 weeks now, and like I definitely want to improve. So like I felt like that I did play fairly well. It's just that I didn't play as good as I could have on making mistakes. It's just that like my movement was pretty good. It's just that it could have been improved.
Right. I saw you going for quite a lot of elaborate movement in Lost Kingdom, dying a couple times, but that may have could that have been due to pressure or just not practicing enough?
In shards, in like the shards, I was like, do I go for shards in jungle? It's really fast, but it has a high risk. Or do I go for shards under siege in Metro Kingdom, which is the one with the taxi the Kerbis used?
Right.
So I took a quick hit and went for shards in the jungle, and I just like fell apart, kind of.
Yeah, totally understandable. As I mentioned earlier, the board has to be looked at in a split second, and you got to figure out your routes, and
it's a bit complicated.
Just, as far as you did, definitely you definitely did well for what you were given.
I was actually wondering, because when you went back to sand, I thought it was alright, but when you didn't do the moon shards in the sand, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, I was a bit confused there, because like I knew that shards in the sand was really slow, but I already got the story moon, so I was really confused. Do I just bail on this, or do I get shards later on? That time I didn't know shards under siege existed until I was in Cloud Kingdom. I like had a flash of inspiration, and I found out that there were shards under siege, which is a lot faster. Well, I don't know, they're probably like exactly the same, but
I think people don't really like doing moon shards in the sand, but they're honestly not that bad.
They're not bad.
I mean, you're there anyway, so I think, in my opinion,
the only reason why people don't like it is because IP clip exists, as I kind of struggled with that today. Like, usually setup is like you just slide on the wall, backflip, and do a roll cancel. I just like didn't get the setup down for that as well.
Yeah, You had a lot of trouble with that, I remember.
Yeah, and also funny thing in Cloud, the reason why I died there is because my TV switched off.
Oh.
Yeah,
Technical
Okay.
difficulty.
because it has auto
the true
standby.
winner of today, right?
Yeah. So I lost me
Alright.
like a minute and a half. So, anyways, I'll pass the stream on to you guys.
All right, Xylex, definitely you played very well. Sadly, you didn't make it, but that's
Yeah,
still
good.
a very, very good show from you. And thank you for doing this interview with us.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you guys later.
Yes,
Alright.
see
I
ya.
need
See
to
ya.
pop off now. So see ya.
Bye.
Alright. And I think that's the end of this match, so thank you everyone for watching. Just again, follow the runners, follow us commentators if you really want. You know, I play this game sometimes, Bingju plays it a lot, I think. But yeah.
I'd say a lot. But yeah, guys, definitely 100% follow Kerbis, follow Xylex. Kerbis has been playing this game for an insanely long time. Xylex is working really hard to get very good. So both of them very passionate about the game. So if you want to get your Mario Odyssey fix, both of those will suffice.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.